This is the MCTV Weekday Update.
Welcome to the Monday edition of the MCTV Weekday Update. I'm Anakin Rayos.
And I'm Krizia Williams.
A controversial city ordinance that stirred up strong reactions here in Lubbock will now be added to the books following this past weekend's election. Proposition A, also known as the Sanctuary City for the Unborn ordinance, was approved by voters on Saturday with a 62% voting for the ordinance. With the result, Lubbock is now the largest city in the U.S. to become a sanctuary city for the unborn, and it's also the only city with an active abortion provider that has passed a law that outlaws abortion. More than 34,000 city residents voted in the election, with 21,400 voting for the ordinance and 12,860 voting against. The turnout was the second highest for a May election since Lubbock County voted to go wet in 2009. But the 34,260 residents who voted in this year's election represent less than a quarter of the city's total registered voters. In last year's mayoral election, Lubbock officials reported that just under 150,000 residents were registered to vote within city limits. Even though Proposition A passed this weekend, the ordinance itself states that it cannot be enforced by the city. Currently, past rulings by the Supreme Court of the United States on abortion would prevent the city from charging anyone in the violation of the ordinance. But the provisions for private enforcement will go in effect, which will allow a private individual to sue anyone found to be in violation of the ordinance. Lubbock will officially be considered a sanctuary city for the unborn, but it's unclear whether or not abortion provider Planned Parenthood will continue to offer services in the city. Even with this weekend's results, the ordinance will not officially be on the books until at least June 1st. It is expected that groups such as the ACLU will file lawsuits that could challenge the ordinance's constitutional and legal standings before it is officially put into effect.
In other city news, the COVID-19 situation in Lubbock continues to hold mostly steady as Texas Tech and other local schools approach summer break. Within the last 7 days, city officials have reported 100 new cases of COVID-19. That number includes a large spike last Thursday when 41 new cases were announced in the daily report. Even including Thursday's spike, Lubbock County averaged only 12 new cases of the coronavirus per day over the last 2 weeks. That's a huge drop from the beginning of the year when case counts hovered around 200 cases per day. Here on campus, reports a new COVID-19 cases have become almost non-existent, with only 4 new cases announced last week. That's actually 1 less than the previous week's report of 5 new cases. 2 of last week's positive tests were reported on Friday. The end of the week report also included 1 recovery, bringing the number of total active cases to 3. In total, Texas Tech has reported 238 cases of COVID-19 since employees reported back to campus in January. 217 of those cases have been reported during the spring semester, and the student population makes up for the vast majority of cases, with 163 students receiving a positive result since the week of January 20th.
Speaking of the coronavirus, on-campus vaccinations continue this week after giving students a few more chances to get the shot before the end of the semester. The next on-campus clinic will take place tomorrow afternoon from noon to 5 p.m. at the United Supermarkets Arena. Tuesday's clinic will be the first vaccinations offered at the USA since Texas Tech canceled the final 2 clinics that were originally scheduled for the last 2 Thursdays in April. Vaccinations at the USA will continue next week on Monday, May 10th, Wednesday, May 12th, and Thursday, May 13th. Tomorrow's clinic will feature the one-shot Johnson & Johnson vaccine, but next week's clinic will also include both the J&J vaccine for new attendees and the second dose of the Moderna vaccine for anyone who attended the April 15th clinic. Beyond tomorrow's clinic at the USA, the tech community will have one other chance to get this shot this week at the Student Union Atrium. That opportunity will take place this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. and also features the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. All of the clinics are free and open to all faculty, staff, and students. You do not need to schedule an appointment or register ahead of time. You can simply walk up and get the shot. For more information on the vaccine and the clinics here on campus, visit commitment.ttu.edu and click on Vaccine.
Activities and events here at Texas Tech have been limited since classes resumed back in August. With COVID-19 numbers down, there's a slow return to normalcy as more and more groups host in-person options for students, even though a large portion of the events calendar has still featured virtual-only events. But last week, campus officials made sure that one well-known celebration made a return to the spring schedule. MCTV's Patricia Perry joins us in studio with the details. Patricia?
Thanks, Krizia. A long-standing tradition at Texas Tech that helps keep campus beautiful, Arbor Day, was able to have another successful year. Arbor Day has been happening annually since 1937.
Arbor Days is time for all the students to come together to plant and to beautify campus, make all the flowers come out and get ready for spring.
Many organizations on campus send out students to participate in Arbor Day. Students like Rigoberto Hernandez and T&E were sent with a specific job for the event.
My job today was doing a video of this experience just to show all incoming students and transfer students about a little of the traditions that Texas Tech has to offer.
Arbor Day has created a sense of happiness for many students as they help out their campus and bond with their peers. Many, like Hernandez, are enjoying this event no matter the cost of getting their hands dirty.
It's funny, I already got older and I don't care. It's just fun moment with your friends and helping the community, actually.
For some students, Arbor Day gives them a chance to give back to their campus. Sophomore Macy Miller says Texas Tech's beauty is what caught her attention from the beginning, so maintaining that is important to her.
That's what sold me to come to Texas Tech. It's just how beautiful it is here, and so by being able to give back and exhibit that same beauty just is really something special.
Even if you couldn't attend Arbor Day this year, you can see all the flowers around campus grow throughout the spring. For MCTV, I'm Patricia Perry. Back to you, Krizia.
Patricia, I know that Arbor Day celebrations in the past have included music, games, and even free food for students participating in the event. Were any of those options part of this year's festivities?
Unfortunately, due to COVID-19, they couldn't have all of the celebrations that they usually have, but they did have jellyfish air plants and t-shirts that students could take home as souvenirs.
Awesome. Thanks, Patricia. If you would like to learn more about one of Tech's oldest celebrations here on campus, visit ttu.edu/traditions and click on Arbor Day.
Speaking of Texas Tech traditions, an event with a lot less history took place over the weekend. But even though it may not be as well known as Arbor Day, it's become an essential part of many students' Red Raider experience. Yesterday afternoon, the Texas Tech Alumni Association held the annual TTU ring ceremonies at the United Supermarkets Arena. The ceremonies took place at noon, 3 p.m., and 6 p.m. and featured students from the university's 10 colleges, university programs, and the graduate school. The students were spread out between the three ceremonies to limit the number of attendees, and USA played host to the event for the first time to help accommodate COVID-19 restrictions.
I think it's important that this event is in person because they have worked so hard, and if it was online, they wouldn't be able to celebrate their accomplishments. I honestly am I'm proud of her. I really am. I'm glad that she got to experience this in person because I feel like it's not as special if it's online and they won't be able to be recognized for their hard work.
The annual ring ceremony takes place annually during the spring and fall semesters. Last year's ceremonies were held virtually due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
The Lubbock area got a continuation of spring conditions as well as a taste of summer over the weekend. Friday and Saturday temperatures stayed in the mid to upper 70s, but yesterday afternoon a return of sunshine helped highs climb above 90 degrees for only the third time this year. So which seasonal temperatures will make a return during the first week of May? Let's take a look at the MCTV forecast. The MCTV tower cam has been showing a lot of clouds today that moved in overnight. Those clouds, along with a cold front, have kept temperatures much cooler today, with highs only reaching the lower 70s. The temperatures are set to start dropping soon as a storm front moves through late this afternoon. In fact, we could even see some severe weather around the South Plains before sunset. After dark, the storms will clear out of the area, but the clouds will stick around and lows will fall into the 50s. Tomorrow's temperature won't be much warmer than today, but the sun is expected to make a return by late morning. Highs should climb into the lower 70s again with a few clouds later in the day. Then on Wednesday, the spring conditions will continue with more sun and highs returning to the 80s. We will also see some wind on Wednesday afternoon. Gusts will be minimal, so we shouldn't see much dust in the air. Then on Thursday, conditions should be close to perfect with sunny skies all day and temperatures back in the low 80s. A light breeze will stick around the area, but it should hover around 10 to 15 miles per hour most of the day. Looking ahead, a return of gusty winds could return to the area to end the week before summer-like conditions return for the weekend.
It was another busy weekend on the diamond for the Texas Tech baseball and softball teams. But as often been the case this season, they each had opposite experiences as they took on Big 12 competition. MCTV's Nathan Lee has a look at the scores and highlights from all of this weekend's action in sports. Nathan?
Thanks, Anakin. Tech baseball is back in the top 10 after a series win over the Texas Longhorns in Austin. On Friday, the Red Raider outfield made great plays such as this diving catch from center fielder Dylan Carter to end the second inning. Now we go to the top of the fourth. Designated hitter Cody Masters hits a triple down the right field line. It was his only hit of the series, but man, it was a big one. Braxton Fulford comes home, and the game is tied 2-2. Now top of the fifth, Red Raiders up 3-2. Drew Baker hits one into left center field and brings 2 runners home, and the Red Raiders go on to win 6-3 on Friday. On Saturday, offense was hard to come by until the top of the sixth. With the bases loaded, Jace Young was hit by a pitch in the ankle to bring home Tech's first run. Then Cal Conley hits an RBI double to give the Red Raiders a 3-0 lead. Tech would go on to score 5 runs in the top of the sixth, and the game was suspended due to rain, but Tech came back on Sunday to finish off a 5-3 victory. Game 3 of the series started off good for Tech with Drew Baker hitting an RBI double in the right field corner. Braden Runyon scores, and Tech is up 2-0 in the top of the second. But the Longhorns came roaring back. Longhorn shortstop Trey Faltini hit a double just in the gap between the outfielders to bring 2 runners home and give Texas a 2-run lead. Now up 7-2 in the bottom of the seventh, Douglas Hodo III comes up and hits a grand slam to put the game away, and the Longhorns avoid a sweep with an 11-3 victory on Sunday. Despite Sunday's loss, Tech has now won 4 of the last 5 series against Texas. Their next game will be Tuesday against Oklahoma in the Red Dirt rivalry at Hodgetown Stadium in Amarillo. First pitch will be at 6 p.m. The game was originally scheduled to be played April 20th, but was rescheduled due to bad weather. Tech baseball will then have 10 games left in the regular season against Illinois, Chicago, Oklahoma, and Kansas before the Big 12 and NCAA tournaments. Due to COVID-19 rules, the regional and super regional sites will be determined next week instead of right before their respective rounds. With Tech being a top 10 team as of right now, it's likely that Lubbock will get to host a regional for the 5th straight season. Tech softball played their final regular season series last weekend at Rocky Johnson Field against the Iowa State Cyclones. On Friday, Tech pitcher Missy Zote kept Iowa State in check until the top of the fourth, where Malaysia Ochoa hit a 2-run RBI double down the right field line. The Red Raiders never got any real offensive momentum, and Iowa State won 4-1 on Friday. Now to Saturday, top of the second, Iowa State up 2-1. Casey Simpson hits the second Iowa State home run of the day to put the Cyclones up 3-1. Bottom of the third, Tech down 4-1. Ariana Villa hits an RBI single. Carly Hamilton comes home, and the Red Raiders trim the lead to just 2. But here comes Malaysia Ochoa again. A 2-run blast in the top of the fifth was all the Cyclones needed, and Iowa State won 6-3 on Saturday. The Red Raiders were down again on Sunday until freshman Riley Love hit her first collegiate home run in the bottom of the fifth. Man, what a moment for her, and that ties the game at 2 apiece. We go to the top of the seventh. Tech gets the ground out to set up a chance for a walk-off victory, and that's just what they did. Another freshman with a huge play. J.C. Hamlin hits a single into left field, brings home Kelsey Leach, and the Red Raiders finish the regular season with a walk-off victory 3-2. Tech finished the regular season with just 3 Big 12 wins, so they're going to be cheering for Iowa State to win 2 of their 3 games against Kansas this weekend. If that happens, Tech will get the last spot in the Big 12 softball tournament May 14th and 15th and get at least one more chance to make something happen. That's all for sports. Back to you, Anakin.
Thanks, Nathan. With the semester nearing an end, most students have either registered for classes or are finishing up their schedules. But there's still time for students to figure out which direction they want to go with their college careers. With that in mind, One Texas Tech department headed outdoors to let students know what all they have while also offering the chance to interact with some furry friends. MCTV's Claire Sigmund has more.
On Tuesday, the College of Media and Communication event branding team held the Ags and Wags event at Urbanovsky Park. Here, students could stop by between classes, play with volunteer dogs, and learn about the advertising program here at Texas Tech.
Today we're doing Ags and Wags, so there's going to be dogs here, and we're really trying to promote the advertising department, particularly to students who are undeclared or freshmen that are new here. So the way we're going to promote that is they're going to speak with different professors, they're going to speak with us students, and while they're here they get to do fun activities such as play with dogs, tie-dye t-shirts, win some giveaways, big doggy treat bags, so there's a lot of stuff for them to do.
Event branding team member Lauren Laramie says that in addition to learning about what the advertising program has to offer, students could also relax in the midst of finals.
This is a great way to distract, even if it's just 5 to 10 minutes. You know, there's so many different activities you can do. There's people you can speak with, communicate with, bond with, so it's a great way to get away from those finals, even if it's a short period of time.
The event branding team collaborated with the Yellow-Caped Raiders, which is an organization on campus that provides service dogs to people in need. Samantha Carter, student representative of the Yellow-Caped Raiders, says that the organization prepares the dogs for many different types of services.
We have 5 different types of service dogs here in this organization. So our first kind of service dog is just going to be like your standard hearing dog. We have our PTSD dogs that we get paired with veterans. We have our skilled companions that are going to be with children with disabilities, our graduate dogs for adults with disabilities, and then we have our facility dogs. So they go into like old folks' homes or occupational therapy, and they assist with people there at those places.
Junior Catherine Richardson says the dogs were a great way to encourage students to participate in the event and learn more about the advertising program.
I'm a dog person and I just love dogs, and I have one myself, and she's 2 years old and she's just crazy, but if I'm upset and everything, and they just, for some reason, they know how to put a smile on your face, and it's great.
To learn more about the event branding team, visit their Instagram page at TTU Event Branding. For MCTV, I'm Claire Sigmund. Back to you.
Thank you, Claire.
It may be hard to believe, but the last day of classes is tomorrow and commencement ceremonies start this weekend. And like many things over the past year, graduation will look a lot different than it has in the past. This Friday, Texas Tech will be hosting an in-person ceremony for all 2020 graduates. The ceremony was put on the schedule due to many students being unable to walk last year due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The ceremony is scheduled for 7 p.m. inside Jones AT&T Stadium. All graduates for the spring, summer, and fall ceremonies who have chosen to participate will be included in the single ceremony. Then on the following weekend, the spring 2021 commencement ceremonies will also be held in Jones AT&T Stadium. The spring graduates will start on Friday, May 14th at 5 p.m. with degree candidates for the Graduate School and the College of Arts and Sciences. Then on Saturday, May 15th, all other 2021 graduates for the remaining 9 colleges and university programs will take part in a single ceremony also at 5 p.m. Graduates in all 3 ceremonies receive instructions earlier this semester to claim tickets for invited guests, but anyone without a ticket will not be allowed to enter the stadium. But if you don't have a ticket, you can still watch all the ceremonies live as they happen by visiting ttu.edu/live stream.
So, Krizia, today is the last time for either of us to anchor on the MCTV Newscast. Can you believe graduation is so close?
I definitely cannot believe it. Is a very surreal feeling. How are you feeling?
Very surreal indeed. On one hand, I'm ready to experience a new step in my life, and on the other, I'm going to miss my friends and colleagues I made in Texas Tech. That's all for today's edition of the MCTV Weekday Update.
Thanks so much for joining us, and be sure to check ttuhub.net every day for more news. Have a great summer and check back for more MCTV next fall.